Oh boy. So, I made a video on this earlier today. I'm not going to upload that video because it didn't turn out in an acceptable way. Basically, someone tweeted out that their son was beaten up on the bus for wearing a Trump hat, which personally I don't believe. Actually, I'm going to show the video. Um, First of all, the hair in this picture is different from the actual video that they showed. Did they delete the video? I hope not. What happened? Huh? What did they do to the video? Did they delete the video? Oh, they might have deleted the video. Huh, ain't that interesting. So, they uploaded it with a video. Um, Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so I found it. It was commented to this, but I don't know why it's not showing. So look. This kid was asking for it. You can tell by the expression. Well, not really the expression on his face. I'm not going to play the video because I don't want YouTube to delete my video for being against the terms and policies. By that I mean it does show a kid getting beaten up. Feel free to go check out this tweet. Maybe I'll post it in the thread. Do not go out and harass this person. I need to point that out right now. Do not harass them. They can believe whatever the hell they want to believe. But basically they said, I'm sitting in the hospital with my 14-year-old kid because he was jumped by 8 black kids on the school bus. Don't know why the skin tone actually matters in this. I guess that's what happens when a kid wears a hashtag Trump hat to school. You don't use a hashtag when your kid goes through a trauma. I'm sorry, no parent would do that. Sorry, no good parent would do that. That was my mom's words, not mine. That's why I had to rephrase it. Because my mom specifically said no good parent should use a hashtag over a child's trauma. Anyways, and who's the violent ones again? Earlier today, they poured milk on over his head. How would they pour milk on his head if he's in the hospital? Anyways, my attorney, not gonna talk about that crap, said it's okay to release the video. Warning graphic, keeping in mind the first 21 seconds of the video. Please retweet to have these 2 girls and 3 boys held accountable. Retweets are not getting them held accountable. Going to court and pressing charges would get them held accountable. You fucking idiot. Is something I hate about the internet nowadays. They assume just because the internet doesn't agree with something that they're going to be, haha, take that, you're being held accountable. No. If anything, you're just making it look like a childish fight. If you really want them to be held accountable, take them to fucking court. It's that fucking simple, and I swear to God, I will slap you if you don't. Because your child got beaten up. I don't give a crap if this is real or not. If it is real in your mind, you take the other kids to court. For your kid's sake. Not for yours, not because you want to, prove a point. No, you do it for your kid's sake. And some people will say, well, it's a lot of time and money that really doesn't have to be spent. Who gives a shit? You, as a parent, need to protect your child. If this is happening, and of course it still is because they poured milk on his head, I guess, according to them, even though it's physically impossible if they're in the hospital, because they won't let anyone up to see a kid, by the way. If that is the case, then you take those kids to court and you protect your child. You don't go make a huge drama shit show on the internet. And by talking to the news, because there is news stuff on it, but think of it, because nobody on the internet, everyone on the internet is talking about it, but no news channels have covered it. I wonder why, even though many news channels have covered Trump's wrongings in the past. Oh, but no, as soon as it's this kind of case, they don't cover it, because there's no fucking evidence. There's no evidence to any of this. There was like one news thing that I saw, and I don't even know if it's an official news channel, because honestly, it looked like a YouTuber. That's basically all I can say, and the person refused to show me the actual proof of it, so I'm like, well then why the hell should I believe you? Anyways, so I'm going to point out, first of all, he's staring right at them like he's asking for it. And I need to point this out because I was beaten up in school a lot. If you guys want to go back to my high school years, I'll gladly make a video on that. I was beaten up several dozen times. I was the school's punching bag, and I couldn't give less of a shit. A lot of the time I jumped into those scenarios to be the punching bag instead of one of my friends. And if that's the case, then okay, I'm fine with it. Of course, that isn't always the case. I've been beaten up on my own, and I wasn't happy about that. I wasn't happy about any of it, to be honest. But I'd rather be defending someone than just sitting there and taking it for no reason. But I had to. I wasn't going to fight back. I used to be what I consider a pacifist, even though I would fight back if my life depended on it. But I would not fight back for, kids. Okay? I was a kid too, but it's like, they can't kill me. I don't give a shit. and I won't give them the satisfaction they're looking for. Even though at times I wanted to rip their throats out. I'm not going to lie. But this is the thing, is he's staring right at them, and if you want to play the video, go ahead, go check it out. But if you look at a certain scene in this, his hair flips to the side, and let me point out, in this picture, there's not enough hair for it to do that. The hair is completely different. Yeah, that's totally the same kid. Not to mention, this hair is much curlier. This hair is more straight, has small curls at the bottom, but it's much different than that. So you think that you can get away with making this bullshit up. Anyways. So I'm going to go back to the tweet that I was talking about. That's not what I wanted. Here it is. Long story short. That's not the definition of a gang. So it doesn't fit the narrative of calling a couple of black kids a gang because y'all are trying to push. Definition: a group of adolescents who band together, especially a group of delinquents. Appears you're wrong. No, a gang is defined as an organized group of criminals. Nowhere does it say kids or delinquents. Don't make up some bullshit. After all, gangs are usually adults. I know. I'm in a neighborhood where group shootings happen a lot. Let me point out, there was a shooting just a few days ago. And in the winter, it's much rarer. In the summer, it's much more common. There was a shooting in the Walmart parking lot, oh god, it was several months ago. It was like 2 or 3 months, no, it was 3 or 4 months ago. Because it was still the end of summer. So it was, anyways, it was after I moved here, like a month after I moved here. So it might be a little longer than 4 months ago. I don't remember exactly, but it was during the summer. It was about a month after I moved to my new apartment. There was also several shootings that I could actually hear the gunshot from outside my window. I'm not kidding when I say that there are shootings here all the time, and many of them are gang wars. That's literally what the police have called them. So don't give me that bullshit saying that kids are normally the ones in gangs. No, most of the people in these gangs are actually, believe it or not, Caucasian, but are people in the neighborhood who are 100% grown-ass adults. So don't give me that bullshit. Also, they went and said, okay, Jake, gang. Group of criminals or hoodlums who band together for mutual protection and profit. A group of adolescents who band together, especially a group of delinquents. Let me point out, you're using a definition off the internet, and let me show you what I did. Also, this is complete bullshit. They used the one that has to do with kids. All the other ones are just dumb. Like, all the people who agree with this, I mean. Because they are going off of an internet definition. And look what I did. I guessed the internet. I looked in an actual dictionary, the book. Go check, I dare ya. I also made this. I find it pitiful that people rely on the internet for things easily found from a reliable search. Let me point out, I don't rely off internet dumbasses. I even say this for Hero Hey. He talks about stuff, and I go look it up. I never take his word for it. I always do my own research because people gotta be crazy on the internet. Even some people who I normally would agree with, I can't trust them. I never 100% trust someone who I'm not good friends with, and even if I am a good friend with them, I don't trust them over cases that I have no clue about. If it's something that I can easily figure out on my own, I will go and do that. I will never take someone else's opinion before my own. Okay? But I find it pitiful that people use the internet as a source rather than actual documents or, actual books. Also, I feel like there's so many definitions in this picture. Like, look at them all. There's a group of hoodlums, adolescents, a group who are banned. That's literally what they say. This is also, they're looking at Urban Dictionary. They're looking at, slang. Which is not actually what a gang is, by the way. A gang is an actual word. I need to point that out now. It's not an Urban Dictionary piece of shit. Anyways, group of criminals or hoodlums. Okay, so yeah, there's a bunch of different definitions for this. And they chose the one that's about kids. Yeah, no. But But I do find it pitiful that people are taking internet searches as evidence. I'd be saying this even if I was a Trump supporter, which, by the way, I don't have a political party. So fuck you, internet. I don't have to give you I don't have to say I'm not a Trump supporter because I don't support anyone, technically. Um, the point is, I don't really know who I'm with, to be honest. I'll be honest right now. I don't really know. I really don't. Both sides are just horrible and awesome at the same time. In history, I've done my research. In history, there's been a lot of positives and a lot of negatives for both sides, and I have a problem figuring out which one's better. And even with all the research I've done, it's only made it harder for me to choose. So yeah, ain't that interesting. Anyways, so I don't really support Trump, but I also don't support Hillary or anyone else who's ever been a president, to be honest. Technically, I didn't even support, well, no, I supported Obama because as a kid, you want the new a new thing in history. You want to be part of that moment. And I need to point out, I didn't vote for it because I couldn't, but we did vote in our school as a fake voting thing. So we all the students got to basically put in a vote, even though it wasn't a real vote. It was just with the school. It was a dumb activity to get us used to actually voting. This was in middle school, I think, or maybe elementary school. I was very young. No, it was fifth grade. It was fucking fifth grade, I believe. Oh my god. It was so long ago. I'm surprised I remember this, because I remember there were books, and there was a Pokemon book that I always read in that little tiny area where the books were. And I was right by those books when I was writing down on the paper. God, I miss elementary school. It was so much fun. Anyways, I liked it. I actually liked school. But, we did our own votes, and Obama was the first African American president, but, who was it? Who was who would have been the vice president? The first female vice president, I think it was. In history would have been the other one. So either way, it would have been a new record in history, or a new event that has never happened in history before. Anyways, so what I still voted for Obama because, the vice president isn't really anything compared to the president, and that was kind of my thought back then. Anyways, the human race relies on the internet for everything. Someday Wally will be real. Fat, lazy humans everywhere. No offense, of course, I'm referring to humanity as a whole. We're all looking for shortcuts. Truly shows how weak-minded we've become. And I swear, no one can deny that. No one can deny that. The human race looks for shortcuts. Sometimes it's to avoid it, but the majority of the time, it's to go down the easier path, which is just dumb. Even with like major companies, they're all going for machines and robots to take over all the jobs because it's more efficient, it makes more money. But the thing is, in the long run, they're going to end up putting everyone out of work, and there'll be no one who can afford their actual products because no one's working, and yada 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 yada. You guys get where I'm going with that. It's an endless cycle that basically will make it impossible for them to get any business when no one can afford to buy their product because everyone's out of a job. That's basically what I'm saying with that. So shortcuts are never good. They might be good for a certain amount of time, but in the end, they will backfire. That is a given fact. So, here is where I have to say that the human race is just dumb. I'm ashamed to be a human. I know. It's sad. Go away, BG Mike. I'll watch you later. The human race looks for too many shortcuts, and this is just a major example of it. Relying on the internet rather than a simple book that you should have in your little tiny bookshelf anytime. I have a dictionary, I have a thesaurus, I have a, whatchamacallit, a rhyming dictionary too, which I haven't used in years, but I still have it. I also have I have a textbook too. I have like 3 American textbooks. Oh god, I think one of them was from my school technically that I never really returned, so sorry Penfield High School. I don't actually remember where it's from, so it might not be from high school, but I'm pretty sure it is. I even have my yearbook from back then that I look at instead of going on the internet and see like, hey, I wonder who's in Penfield. I can literally just look on my yearbook. I mean, I can't see who's still in Penfield, but who went to Penfield. Like, I'll look at like, a lot of time people will go on Facebook or whatever. This is just from my own experience. People will go on Facebook and be like, oh, this person's from Penfield. No, I actually just go back and look at the textbook, or in my yearbook. I'm just like, oh, yeah, I forgot all about Samantha. I don't know. There were like 3 Sammys, and there was a Sammy, there was a Samantha, there were 4 Sams. 2 of them were guys, 2 of them were girls. I think there were like 4 other Samanthas. God, there were so many Samanthas, too. Oh god, Penfield was massive. I think there were like 300 students in the graduating class when I graduated in 2016. Maybe not. Maybe I'm going insane here. But there were a lot of students. I know that. My point is, I don't rely off internet. I don't rely off the shortcuts. I go and do my actual research. I do physical work. And texting a few letters is not physical work. I hate when people are like, oh, here's the definition. No, that's not the definition. You want the definition, go look at an actual textbook. People who use the definition of something from the internet are idiots. Because if you look at the internet, there are 1,000 different ways to phrase a definition. Go to any dictionary site, you'll find like 30 different definitions. Not to mention, some will list several definitions for the same word. So, I'm sorry, which one are you supposed to go off of? It depends on the context. But the problem is, you don't have the context, do you? You have to go to a fucking dictionary to get the word that relates to every context of that word. Well, in that form, I should say. Because there's nouns, verbs, adjectives, pronouns, yada 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 yada. Actually, pronouns doesn't really matter, does it? No, pronouns. I don't know. Is there a definition that's different in pronoun? I don't know. Anyways, I'll look that up later. By that I mean I'll actually go to the dictionary and look it up. I just search for an example. Or I could literally just think in my head, okay, pronoun that works as a different form, like a verb. You guys get my point. Oh, I almost thought I had one for a second there. Anyways, the point is, do your research. Don't rely on the internet for everything, you lazy bastards. Even I have to admit I take shortcuts every now and then, but when it's a major issue that I'm making a debate over, I'm not going to go and use the internet as a source. I'm going to look at the actual documentation. I'm going to look at the official thing. Not some internet website, or this is something I also learned in elementary school, actually, and we had to use it all through middle school and high school. Never use Wikipedia as a source for anything, because it's never accurate. Wikipedia, what were the other sites? God, there were so many sites. Wikipedia, Google. I mean, obviously Google. Also, that's why I hate when people just Google or just, like, search definition of. No, never use Google. Google is more for recommending you things. It's, you put in a search, and it shows you, okay, here are all the results for what you're looking for. But you still have to sift through them and find what you're actually looking for. It's saying, okay, here are the things that could relate to what you're asking. But they don't all relate to what you're asking, is basically what I'm saying. You have to find the one that actually relates to what you're asking. Now that that's finished, I'm going to end this video and probably go get some sleep. Also, I'm sorry that I keep having to record up and down rather than side to side. Another word for that is horizontally vertically rather than horizontally. God, my brain doesn't want to work. My phone doesn't really like to record Twitter specifically horizontally because it just zooms in way too much and it cuts out actually a whole side of it. So it's just easier this way. Anyways, I'm going to end this now. Bye, everybody.